Sonic is one of the most iconic characters in the world of gaming and movies. I bet even your grandparents know about the fastest hedgehog on Earth.
Alright boys, try and keep up.
But do you know all the weirdest versions of this character?
Dude, I'm standing right here.
Of course, in a list like this, we have to talk about one of the oldest Sonic variations, which also happens to be one of the earliest internet memes, Sanic. While the original hedgehog has a sleek and stylish look, Sanic is completely deformed. He looks like he crawled straight out of the depths of the underworld. The meme originated from a 2010 video by the YouTuber OnyxHeart, where he makes a so-called tutorial on how to draw Sonic. But since it's meant as a joke, he purposely creates an awful drawing in Microsoft Paint, while an overblown, distorted version of Sonic's classic theme song plays in the background. What started as a simple joke became a defining part of the Sonic fan community. Fans have created countless drawings and animations featuring this hilariously weird Sonic. Even Sega itself has referenced Sanic multiple times over the years, both in games and in animated series. He even makes a cameo in the first Sonic movie as a crude drawing of the hedgehog made by Crazy Carl. Sadly, the creator of Sanic has passed away, but his legacy lives on in the franchise's history. Sanic will continue to appear in fan creations and official Easter eggs for years to come. So let's dive in. This is another Cinewave. It's crazy to think about, but one of the weirdest versions of Sonic was actually created by Sega itself. This version is the Sonic from the first live-action movie trailer, where the hedgehog had a terrifyingly bad design, so different from the Sonic we actually got in theaters. It was so awful that the internet quickly named him Ugly Sonic. Along with countless memes, a massive wave of backlash followed, with fans furious over how they tried to adapt Sonic into a more realistic style, which clearly did not work. Thankfully, the production team took the criticism seriously, delayed the movie, and completely redesigned the character. And we all know how that turned out. The redesign was a huge success, and the film kicked off a blockbuster trilogy with a fourth movie now on the way. If they hadn't made that change, it's very likely the first movie would have never gotten a sequel. Even though he was removed from the final version of the film, Ugly Sonic became another beloved meme in the Sonic community and is still referenced in fan art today. But his popularity went even further. He actually became his own character in Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, where he's portrayed as an actor only famous for being Sonic's ugly version. Now let's talk about a Sonic that's not just bizarre, but downright terrifying. Shin Sonic comes from a fan-made horror series on YouTube by artist Evanimus. This creature may resemble Sonic at first glance, but only in appearance, because its personality is pure evil. In fact, even its looks are way more sinister than the real Sonic. Shin Sonic is basically a version of Sonic that enjoys devouring living creatures. He starts off by eating the animals that Sonic usually saves from Dr. Eggman in the games. But as the series progresses, he escalates, eventually hunting down and eating people. And the more he feeds, the bigger and more grotesque he becomes, until he turns into the massive nightmarish monster you might have seen in fan art or videos, Shin Sonic. The series became a massive hit, raking up millions of views. Shin Sonic has since appeared in numerous videos by other YouTubers, as well as countless fan artworks. There are also hundreds of theories about the events in the series. Right now, Shin Sonic is trending, but it's only a matter of time before he becomes another legendary part of this franchise's history. And since we're talking about scary versions of the character, it would be a crime not to mention another classic created by the internet, Sonic.exe. This isn't just the most famous creepy Sonic, it's one of the most legendary creepypastas of all time. Sonic.exe exists in a world where Sonic's adventures are just regular video games. But this version of the character is actually a cursed entity that haunts a mysterious Sonic CD. Instead of playing as Sonic and fighting Dr. Robotnik, the player controls other characters who must escape a terrifying, blood-crying, black-eyed version of Sonic. Like many creepypastas from the early 2010s, a lot of people believed it was a real story at first. But of course, it's just a fictional tale made by a fan, or at least, that's what we think. What's cool is that the fan community later created an actual Sonic.exe game that works just like the haunted CD described in the legend. Fans also made a terrifying and ultra-violent animation of Sonic.exe hunting down his friends. Don't watch it if you're underage, it's seriously disturbing. Nowadays, Sonic.exe isn't really scary anymore and has turned into more of a joke, but there's no denying that every other creepy version of Sonic, like Shin Sonic, was heavily inspired by him. If you think Sonic.exe is awesome, drop a #EXE in the comments below. When we said Sonic.exe turned into a meme over the years, we weren't kidding, because it even got its own parody. Yep, a fan-made character got a parody made by other fans. His name is Sunky, and he's the star of a game that closely resembles the Sonic.exe fan game. Except everything, from the characters to the backgrounds, looks like it was drawn in Microsoft Paint and is way goofier. And instead of hunting down his friends to kill them, Sunky just wants to dance. Yep, that's right. The game is super short and is basically just a collection of silly jokes and dance moves, but it does its job of making people laugh instead of scaring them. Sunky even got a few more games, which aren't necessarily Sonic.exe parodies anymore, but still focus on completely random humor. He may not be as famous as other joke versions like Sanic or even Sonic.exe, but he's definitely one of the coolest bizarre versions of Sonic out there. Plus, his creator, Looney Dude, put in a lot of effort to make these games, considering how tricky it is to develop games with hand-drawn graphics. By now, it's clear that Sonic fans put in a lot of effort, but some take it to another level. Just look at channels like Bellina Productions, which has made tons of Sonic animations. These videos are so well made that they could easily pass as episodes of an official Sonic animated series. One of their projects introduced yet another creepy version of Sonic, a monstrous zombie Sonic that goes head-to-head with the original Sega hero. This creature looks a lot like Werehog Sonic, the werewolf-like form he takes in Sonic Unleashed, but instead of just being a beast, he's got a rotten undead body and is way more aggressive, just like a typical zombie. If there's another game franchise with a fan base as passionate and creative as Sonic's, it has to be Five Nights at Freddy's, or just FNAF for those in the know. So what happens when someone becomes a fan of both series? Well, the crossover has already happened, and the result was a fan game that merges both worlds. It's called Five Nights at Sonic's Maniac Mania, and it follows the same formula as FNAF, where you play as a security guard working the night shift at a pizzeria, trying to survive attacks from animatronic creatures. The twist? Instead of FNAF's creepy robots like Freddy and his crew, the animatronics in the game are alternate versions of Sonic and his friends, along with some surprise appearances from other famous gaming icons like Mario. This is something we'd never have imagined on our own. And now that there are Sonic and FNAF movies, what if they made a crossover film mixing both franchises? Imagine Sonic ending up at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and running into Mike. How wild would that be? Though, let's be real, a Sonic-Mario crossover is probably more likely to happen first. We already talked about Ugly Sonic, the official version of Sonic that was later turned into a standalone character by the fandom and even made it into a Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers episode. But what if we told you something similar happened again? This time though, the character has a much creepier vibe. Meet Spooky Sonic, a fan-made creepypasta based on a super eerie Easter egg hidden in Sonic CD, a game from 1993. This Easter egg is triggered when the player enters a specific sequence in the game's sound test menu. If done correctly, the screen suddenly changes to display a bunch of bizarre-looking Sonic faces, all while playing the game's boss fight theme in a super unsettling way. To make things even weirder, there's a line of Japanese text in the middle of the screen that, when translated, says "Infinite Fun, Sega Enterprises, Mazen Picture." Basically, it's just a generic phrase about the game being fun, which doesn't fit at all with how creepy this Easter egg is. The funny thing? It was never meant to be scary. The Sonic CD dev team originally put it in as a harmless joke, but of course the internet turned it into a full-blown horror legend, and this eerie version of Sonic ended up being dubbed Spooky Sonic by the fans. Sonic has some seriously crazy versions, huh? If you want more videos like this, why not subscribe to the channel? That way you'll never miss our daily uploads about your favorite animated series. Fan games, fan art, fan-made series. The weirdest versions of Sonic usually come from these sources, and another great example is Sonic Minecraft. Since Minecraft is known for having tons of amazing mods, it was only a matter of time before someone brought the fastest hedgehog in the world into the game. And nowadays there are actually several mods that transport the blue blur straight into Minecraft's blocky world. There are even custom maps that recreate levels from Sega's Sonic games inside Minecraft. And if there's a Sonic Minecraft, I'm sure you can already guess what's next. Yep, Sonic in Roblox. Since Roblox is a platform where players can create their own games, it has even more maps featuring new versions of Sonic and his friends. In fact, if you don't have the money to buy the official Sonic games, some Roblox games can be a great alternative. Titles like Sonic Speed Simulator, Classic Sonic Simulator, and Sonic Ultimate Roleplay offer different ways to experience the Sonic universe for free. We've left 2 other videos on your screen. Just pick the one that looks the most interesting. It's that simple. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!